He who controls information controls the world. Namaste and welcome to today's Hindu Youth Conference. My name is Sachita Subramanian and I'm a part of Hindu Youth Australia. Today I'll be acting as the chair of the media session and I'll be introducing you to both the session and the wonderful speakers who will bring the session to life. Before that though, I would like to set the tone of the session for everybody. In our society and our lives, it is hard to take bias out of our everyday actions. Even when doing something as menial as taking a shower in the morning, we have biases. Some people prefer hot water, some people prefer cold. This type of bias and preference is harmless and doesn't affect other people. Now, let me sing this in a different tune for you. In our society and our lives, it is difficult to take bias out of our everyday actions. When doing something as simple as consuming the daily news in the morning, there are biases. Some media outlets prefer to be right-wing and some prefer to be left. Some prefer to be center too. This type of bias is at best neutral and at worst detrimental to Hindus. It affects not only our own perception of our community and its actions, but most importantly, others. While the Hindu community has established itself in many parts of media institutions remain out of reach for many Hindus. In particular, important developments and issues concerning the Hindu society neither get proper coverage nor a just representation. This lack of coverage combined with the very small presence of... This lack of coverage combined with the very small presence of voices advocating for the interests of the Hindu community has led to the entrenchment of attitudes and mindsets that are at very least unsympathetic to Hindus, or if not, downright hostile. As humans, we require the validations of other humans to survive. It's just a fact of nature. It's easy to influence the perceptions of people around you, especially when you're in charge of writing the narrative. When other people are writing your own narrative for you, that's when things start to get out of control. Here are a few real-world examples of other people writing our collective Hindu narrative. One of the Huffington Post national reporters, Rwanda Abdelaziz, writing a Hindu-phobic article equating Hindutva to Hindus who speak up for themselves, engaging with anti-Hindu organizations and peddling provably false narratives. A study published by Rutgers University and written by Prasiddha Sudhakar titled Anti-Hindu Disinformation, a Case Study of Hinduphobia on social media outlines the use of different derogatory words used in social media to describe Hindus specifically. During 2021, the use of the word pajit was common in social media platforms such as X or Twitter, 4chan, Gab, and Telegram. The use of this word was often combined with racist undertones, describing Hindus as dirty, greedy, stupid, and even subhuman. Hate of this kind has been increasing steadily over the years. Tamil politician's son Udayanidhi Stalin, who's also an actor, calling for Sanatana Dharma to be uprooted and its followers to be condemned. Even while researching for my speech today, when looking up Hindu news on Google, I met with example after example of discrimination against Hindus, equating Hindu Dharma to Islamophobia and attacking religious minorities, naming us all right-wing hyper-nationalists under the guise of Hindutva. In an earlier session about Hindu Dharma narratives, Ram Das Ji speaks briefly about the lack of representations of Hinduphobia through a scholarly lens, shown here. It is because we have allowed other people to write our narratives that things have spiraled into this today. I know I've probably scared us all in the room right now. Doom posting is what it's called on the internet, when someone speaks continuously about negative consequences and brings down the mood of themselves and the other people around them. However, I would like to remind us all that it's not all bad out there. Take Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga, and I promise I have a point with this. It's a game that presents the fundamental teachings of Sanatana Dharma in the format of a game. It teaches about how characters must face the consequences for their actions using karma. It teaches about samsara and the cycle of life and death, and how breaking free from the cycle can bring one closer to nirvana. It teaches about mantras and how they can be used to empower the mind and body. It shows scenes of temples with their intricate carvings and showing them to be places of immense power. None of these themes are handled in a derogatory, racist, or disillusioned way. It's represented respectfully, and frankly, it's a big reason why many people came to love it. How can a Japanese game studio give us better representation of Hindu Dharma than ourselves? We can do better. We must understand that there's also good in the world, and there are people and groups who have done their due diligence in speaking up about Hindu matters, representing us in media and allowing our voices to be heard. 3 of these people sit behind me here today, and I have the pleasure of being on this year's World Hindu Congress Youth Conference media session with them.